manufacturing, while it's a focus vertical for us today, I would say it's not a new vertical for us. If you look historically, we've always played in the supply chain side of manufacturing. So as I receive components coming in the dock door, they're typically labeled with Zebra labels. They're scanned with either a mobile computer or a handheld scanner at receipt of them, and then they go into the factory line and the assembly, right? If you look at how we've added technology through that journey, how do I get replenishment into my factory lines? Well, I could use an AMR robot to be able to take goods to the assembly line and prevent people from walking away from factory lines in real time. This is how we're deploying some of the robot technology. When you think about how do I get real-time quality inspection, we had an investor day a couple months ago, and I did a good example of the journey of a sneaker through its life cycle, all the way from factory floor to being delivered to your doorstep. And Zebra interacts with that product about 30 times during that journey. And it really starts in that factory environment of receiving product, but also doing 3D inspection to make sure it's the right product being shipped to the right person. It could be RFID tag to be able to do track and trace visibility, not only to the delivery point, but back through the return point if it ever got returned, right? So you can see how in the factory environment, we're touching the product multiple times as we go through. Warehouse distribution, we've had a long history in warehouse distribution. If you look at, heck, our first mobile computer product, the MC9000, which is probably the most iconic rugged mobile computer in the industry, started in warehouse distribution. And in fact, we really, it was a combination of technologies, Wi-Fi technology that Symbol created back in the day. We actually gave it to the Wi-Fi Alliance, the critical patents for that, to enable the mobile computing market and create a market where you can mobilize compute power at the edge so you could do receipt of goods in a warehouse environment. You could scan a pallet and know all the product coming in to the dock door and where to put it away in the operations. And then we do things like vehicle mount computers that sit on the forklifts that actually take it from the dock door to the put away location and actually put it in a rack. Some of the latest is we're also using our machine vision capability and technologies to dimension those pallets, to understand what's being shipped out the door. Then from after you've received it, you're now staging it. You might be cross-docking it. You might be taking it out to the dock door to ship to an end customer or to a healthcare environment where you're delivering products and goods into a healthcare environment. In a healthcare environment, this is actually quite a good growth category for us overall as we mobilize nurse clinicians to do patient care work within a hospital. So you as a patient, when you check into a hospital, what is the first thing they do for you? They give you a wristband, and that's a Zebra printed wristband that gets put on you, and it enables track and trace visibility through your entire journey at that hospital. You know, when a nurse comes to your bedside to administer medications, what does she do? She takes our HC50 product, she scans your wristband, verifies that you're the right patient, she scans the medicine, verifies the right medicine with the right dosage, gets administered to the patient.
Your own background, Joe.
Sure.
I read that you focus on accounting, and you work for a technology company, and you work. And here we are at an R&D facility.
Yeah.
What is it that, what do you find interesting about your role in this technology company?
Yeah. How far back do you want me to go? No, listen, I was a graduate of University of Maryland in accounting, as you know. I always had a passion for technology, all the way back to when I was a kid, to the point where I used to play with my own PCs at home and that sort of thing, right? I went to night school to be a programmer, and I learned how to be as I was working at it was a government firm, or a quasi-government firm in Washington, D.C., that did legal law binders. Like if you watch any of the TV shows with law binders on the shelves behind the lawyers' desks, yeah, well, that's what we did. And I worked I was accounting system analyst there, and I worked implementing software, and I learned how to be a programmer. It's just there was always somebody who knew a lot more than me. And I went to a company called Digex, and Digex is probably known for being the first web hosting company in the world. And we were actually, at that time, it was all dial-up internet services, and I studied to become a network engineer and be able to program routers and networks. And so IP network and traffic was kind of my thing at the time. And that was fun because nobody knew that. And then I went from there to another internet company that deployed Wi-Fi and internet infrastructure in hotels all across the world. We deployed many of the major hotels. And again, that was networking, IP kind of background. And then the dot-com bust happened. And I moved on to Matrix, which I knew some people there, and they said, "Hey Joe, we need help building the silicon for RFID tags." I said, "I don't know anything about silicon, but I'm book smart. I'll go figure it out." And we worked together. We had a great team at Matrix, awesome founders, really smart people from DARPA, and we were able to build some of the first RFID technology that eventually went to Walmart, eventually got acquired by Symbol Technologies in 2004, and grew up through Motorola, and here I am today. So what makes me passionate about what I do? One is Zebra's got an awesome culture when it comes to the employees within the company. We're very customer-centric. We're very collaborative across the organization. That culture you can't replace. Not every place along my journey had a culture that was so rich as what I found at Zebra. Second thing is we have a trusted relationship and work with some of the highest level leaders in technology around the world. When you look at the list of customers we have and who we get to interact with, and we have a trusted advisor relationship to go in to meet with them. There was a US-based top 5 retailer I was at last Monday with the CIO sitting down talking about what are your priorities in technology, where are you going, how can we help you, what can we, that's a tremendous, for me, that's more valuable than, I love building product, but building product that's connected to customers and really makes a difference in their environment, I'm pretty passionate about. And we have, I get a lot of support in doing that, and we've been very successful as a company. So those are kind of the things that keep me interested and why I love working here, and yeah, just
That's awesome.
building cool products for customers.